So I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Colonel Pierce Papin to explain the Ortona Toast, maybe give a bit of color commentary, and then I'll say a few words.
Okay,
Pierce.
I would like, Madam Ambassador, would you care to join us up here, please?
Your problem.
I would like to just, before I kind of read the missive about the Ortona Toast, just to have a little conversation. I've been in this regiment now for 29 years and going. I can tell you when I joined this regiment as a young soldier in 1994, I was at a mess dinner in Gagetown where Strom Galloway and Dick Dillon, as a colonel of the regiment, attended that mess dinner. And it was, they talked about for the very first time the Ortona Toast and when it became kind of the official toast of the regiment at that point. I am old enough to remember these gentlemen who are in the photograph. Strom Galloway's in the mustache in that photograph over there. And over the years, no matter where we were in the world, no matter what we were doing, this toast and the regimental birthday has always been a seminal event to anybody that's ever served. And the concoction that I'll talk about a little just quickly is just the ingredients that combat-weary soldiers had on hand that they were able to scrounge. Service issue rum, little hot water, brown sugar, and white china mugs that came from a farmhouse in this proximity right here. I can tell you that this toast, other than the time it was conducted in combat almost 80 years ago today, in this vicinity, was also the next time that toast occurred in combat was in Afghanistan in 2008. 2 battalions of the regiment were in location conducting a relief in place. General Thompson at the time was the commander of the task force, and we also had the colonel of the regiment at the time. Mr. Walt Holmes was there as well, and that was the second time that the Ortona Toast occurred in action. Just notably, quickly, in this very spot 2 years ago, Andy and Phil were up here locating the spot, and they had the Ortona Toast for the second time Royal Canadian had that toast. It is extremely poignant to me and probably all the Royals here to be on this spot. It's the closest as we can get to a pilgrimage in my regiment, I think, as we can. Very important. I'm just going to read the words that Strom Galloway wrote. Some of those are on the panel over there for you to read after. And it just talks about, on 21 December 1943, the regiment was dug in around the Ortona crossroads, just behind us here, with 4 understrength companies. And we learned over the last week that those companies were close to decimation after much action and many dead. The battalion headquarters was located in an abandoned farmhouse just over here. And Major Strom Galloway, who was the acting commanding officer at the time, invited Brigadier Dan Spry, the brigade commander, to come celebrate the regiment's birthday. It was the Diamond Jubilee, or the 60th anniversary of the regiment. Captain Sandy Mitchell, officer commanding support company, and Warrant Officer First Class Archie McDonald, found the required ingredients to form the punch, as I said, from around these farmhouses. It consisted of service rum, brown sugar, and hot water, served in a white china mug at 1600 hours. The brigade commander, Dan Spry, arrived, and while advancing onto the location, came under fire, got up, and they celebrated with the companies dug in, as Lee was just telling us around here. From that moment, and again in 1994, when it was brought back into kind of vogue with the regiment, that toast has been performed every regimental birthday. Sir.
Thanks, Pierce. So first off, I'd like to welcome Ambassador Alyssa Goldberg, a dear friend of ours, Pierce and mine, because she was in Kandahar in 2008. She was the rock. She was our rock, as we say. The representative of Canada, Kandahar, the senior civilian in theater, and so she enjoyed that punch on the same day, but perhaps not in the same location, because I think we had it back in headquarters, but that's all good. So on that particular occasion, similar to what D.C. Spry, the acting brigade commander, or acting brigade commander D.C. Spry did in 1943, we circulated around our battle space and made sure that we had the Ortona Toast with as many soldiers as we could reach. and then of course got back to headquarters to ensure that some other people weren't missing. And for me, it's poignant because this is something that was put in place by colonels of the regiment, and as Pierce has already mentioned, it was overseen by a brigade commander, D.C. Spry. It was, in addition to that, you had the commanding officer or acting commanding officer, Strom Galloway, and plus you had a junior officer coming in from a fighting patrol as written on there, and that's Dick Dillon. Those three gentlemen all became colonels of this regiment. And so it was a great honor for us to host Walt Holmes in 2008, another colonel of the regiment, to have this toast. It means a lot to us, so I ask you to raise your mugs to the regiment. To the regiment. And it's just as horrible as I remember.
It's definitely a memory.
I don't want to put the ambassador on the spot, but I'm going to do it anyway. Alyssa, you have anything you want to say to this? Pardon me, this is really bad.
That's fantastic.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
Allora, per gli italiani che sono qui, prima grazie per essere qui con noi, è molto gentile. Grazie, grazie, grazie ai vicini anche. Grazie. Thank you always to Angela, who does a wonderful job of helping Canadians to appreciate what it was that was fought for here in Italy. And I think it's important that we take the time as Canadians. I think, as Angela will no doubt have told you, many Canadians don't fully know the history of the battle, of the freedom that was brought through by Canadians up through southern Italy, eventually through to Rome. And of course, you know, more than 96,000 Canadian soldiers participating in that battle. The loss of 5,900, of course, one is too many for us to lose in the context of any battle. And so for us to be able to be here with you today, the embassy kind of team, Simon, of course, who all of you know as a very proud RCR, and Joanne as well, it's a real privilege for us to be able to participate with you in this toast. And for everything that you have given for Canada, on behalf of Canada, I say thank you. To your families as well, thank you very much. We know what you give up as well to support your spouses that are engaged in something that is more important than any of us individually, but that matters for our country. And so thank you everyone for being here today.
So before you finish this horrible concoction, I just have two small presentations to make. The first will be to the Deputy Mayor of Ortona. Madam, this is the regimental coin of the Colonel of the Regiment, and it has our symbol on it. How good is your English?
Molto bene.
Yeah.
Bene, sì.
So in the middle, a little bit. So in the middle, and you see this crest. It says VRI, which is Latin, Victoria Regina Imperiex, Queen Victoria Empress, because the regiment today, at this instant, is 140 years old because we were formed under Queen Victoria. So
Thank you.
there we go.
Molto particolare. Thank you.
And of course, I've got one for Alyssa, my old friend, but she knows how this works,
Yes.
so I don't have to brief her.
No,
And you know what the symbols mean,
I do.
right? And these guys want to finish this horrible concoction. So here you are, my friend.
Thank you.
It's great to see you.
Can I have a kiss?
All it takes is a prize.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, no cameras are on, right? Because Madame Isabella's in Rome and if she finds out I'm finished.
You'll be in big trouble.
Thanks so much. All right, enjoy.
And here endeth the ceremony, but please, there's more.
If anybody wants more nectar of the gods, right over there.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I knew you could speak. Thanks.
I learned